worse. But yeah, so you're exactly right. There's a lot of challenges. So that's another thing I want you to look at is maybe you're not feeling like these people here, but at the same time, maybe you're not here when normally this time of year you are here at that place. So good. All right. And then the spiritual triathlon. Is anyone implementing those in their life? Just adding those, starting to pray, starting to read your Bible, and having quiet time. That's probably the one that I am the most guilty of skipping over. Because I'm telling God what He needs to do in my life, and rather than listening to what He's telling me I should be doing in my life. And so we need to remember to take that 5 minutes to listen to Him too. And again, what types of transformation have you experienced in the big 5 aspects of your life? Remember we talked about looking at, well, what are the different parts of my life? I have my physical health, I have my spiritual, I have my emotional. And so looking at that, and I'd given you guys a few weeks ago, I think an exercise that you could do where you could look at it and break your life into different parts. And then what you do is you look at, okay, I'm a father, myself, I'm a son, I am a husband, and looking at those, how can I improve upon those things? And so the first time I did this, I really looked at how is it that I can improve being a father. And so what I did was I planned out date nights with each and every one of my children, and that was really cool. That was a great experience. So this time around, I thought, I need to focus also on my marriage, because my wife comes before my children. And so this weekend we went to a Fireproof Your Marriage seminar. I don't know if anyone else got to go to that or even heard of that. Has anyone here seen the movie Fireproof? Yeah, great movie, isn't it? And so if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend it. And so it was put on by Amy and Michael Smalley. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. I hadn't. I heard of Gary Smalley. But Michael and Amy Smalley, great combination. They work well together. Michael Smalley, very ADD. In fact, he told one story. He said that he was working at a Bible camp, and he was taking care he was like the cabin leader for a bunch of boys. And he was getting, I think there was 12 boys, he was getting 12 of these boys ready and getting them ready for breakfast. And then he went to the cafeteria, and he also had to dish out breakfast. And so he's dishing out this breakfast. And this girl comes up to him and says, "Mr. Smalley?" He's like, "Yes." And she's like, "Did you mean to not wear pants today?" He's like, "I got pants on." He looks down, and he's just in his boxers. So that's the kind of guy he is. And so it was really fun to listen to his stories. So before we get really into the nuts and bolts and everything, Renee Doyle has volunteered to just talk about what's changed in her life since she started doing this. And like I said, this is her 3rd time doing this, so she's been implementing it for quite some time. So, do you mind sharing, Renee?
Yeah.
So.
Do I have to stand up?
Yeah, you definitely stand up.
All right. Well, I don't like to stand up in front of people a lot, so this is really a big deal. But I felt very moved to just get up in front of you all and tell you how important this program has changed my life. It has changed my life. This is my 3rd time taking it, and I wish I could talk to you for about 2 hours on how it's changed my life, but everything about my life and eating has changed. I've been on every diet known to man, and this is the first time that I've looked at it not as a diet. I've looked at it in a different way of life. I have major taste buds that have changed. I no longer like salty things. I no longer like sugary things. It just takes away your taste buds for the yucky foods. I run a small daycare in my home, and I've totally changed my daycare's eating habits. We went from fatty foods to really healthy foods, and my children know that when they're in my house, they're probably going to eat healthy, and we don't even think twice about it. Now, what they do when they get home at night, I would like to be there and a mouse in the corner, but I'm not. But what I can do for them in my home is teach them really good things about fruits and vegetables. And I'm just amazed at what they try, and they start being creative with food. The other day they were dipping carrots in applesauce, and they were just so excited about that. They were putting all these things together, and so it's just been really fun for me to see them take a challenge to the foods too. So yeah, and so for my personal self, I have lost the weight that I wanted to lose over the course first year, and I have kept it off.
Wow.
So that's been really fun for me. And so yeah, that's what I wanted to share. I'm just really, I can't tell you enough great about this program. Just do it and take away with what you can from it, because it's amazing how it changes your life and your kitchen cupboards.
Thanks, Renee. I appreciate that. I know how hard it is to get up in front of people and talk. And just think about, and I want you guys to all think about this, is not only you changing your life, like we talked about at first, you are changing the people around you, their lives too. I mean, she is making an impact on those children. I promise you, those children will go out on their own, and they will remember that. They will remember what they got fed, that they'll remember how fun it was to eat healthy foods. And also, Renee, last time, she got her husband to do it with her, which is really cool too, because again, how many guys are in this room right now? Jeff's the only one really taking it. Josh, I don't mean to leave you out, but I don't think you're doing the 40-day, are you? No. So I think that's awesome, but I know that men need this program just as much as women. So if you have to, drag them in here and bring them in there with you, because you'll come home at night and say, oh, this is awesome, this is great, and then you try to get them to jump on board, and it's difficult. If you can do it together, I promise you, you'll be way more successful in this, okay? So, all right. So, last week's instructions for peace were, thou shalt be prideless. Now, I didn't get to talk about this last time, but I think being prideless is huge, and that we do need to humble ourselves. Okay? And I think that this nation as a whole really needs to humble itself. That we have a problem we really turn our back on God, and that's one of the reasons I think the country is going down the path that it is. And so we look at it, and a lot of us become arrogant, and we think that this abundance or this great life we have is because of something we did. And it's really not. It's what God does. And as doctors, I'd have to say that we're probably one of the most guilty people of that, as far as when we see people healed, we're like, oh yeah, I did that, but we didn't do that. And so it reminds me of a story of a gentleman, a medical doctor, that dies. Okay, he goes up to heaven, and he notices at the pearly gates there's a big lineup, and he notices that people are lined up, and he says, man, I'm going to be waiting to get into heaven for hours. He goes, but you know what? I'm a doctor. He goes, I saved people's lives. I changed thousands upon thousands of people's lives. So he walks up, he goes right up to St. Peter and says, you know what? I'm a doctor. I should get in first. He's like, no, you're no better than anybody else. We're all equal. And so he says, you're going to have to go back to the back of the line and just wait. And so he goes back to the back of the line again. He's getting a little upset because he sees